Good day. Not sure if you can see this, but clearly there's been some, I think, cat action here. I think it's being possibly used as a toilet. I don't know, but it's either cat or fox. Usually a fox will be more disturbance than this, and a cat would be less disturbance than this. So I'm not quite sure, but I'll get a trowel and sort it out in a minute, and then I'll sort of find out what it is. Over there, I think we're losing some of our carrot seedlings to slugs or snails, particularly of this end variety here. There's 2 rows here, and I think that might be because of the proximity to the edge here. Oh, look at this Santolina. Gosh, that's going to be absolutely gorgeous in a week or so. I hadn't even noticed that. I mean, just, yeah, hadn't noticed that. But today I am going to be taking out the brassicas, still raking up grass. I need to pick that up because I haven't done that. Taking out the brassicas from this bed here. Definitely time I did that. There's still bees visiting, but you know what, there's places for other bees to visit as well. Look at these Portuguese cabbage, how generally they're doing well. I just come down and do that. You can see that they're about 2 foot. That's about the height of my phone and the tripod. So yeah, they looked a bit the worse for wear over the winter, but they've really got going, which is great. So we'll be harvesting from those. Well, we are harvesting from them now, which is super. But it is a lovely day. But what there is quite a lot of planes kicking out of Heathrow. I think that one there is an A380. Yeah, I think that's what that is. Most probably British Airways. They are big body planes with big wingspans as well. These are the strawberry plants that were left on the sharing table last year in the autumn, which I potted up, you may remember, separated, took back to bare root, gave a really good wash of the roots to make sure there was no weeds of any type on, and then I potted them up individually. You can see how leaves from last year have dried up, but new growth is coming, and of course, you know, flowers. They are gorgeous flowers and fruits forming, which is just lovely. Need a bit of a water. We haven't really had any serious rain for a few days. Yeah, but these are ones that I potted up because I'm going to be taking these with us when we do eventually move, so that's why they're still in pots. And I brought down various things. So there's compost in this bag going into a compost bin. There's some peelings for our cedrics and our cedrichetas in this second bag there. And then these are things for a work party. There's apple pies and some biscuits in there for a work party we're having on Saturday. But yeah, this Santolina is doing well as well. But so much growth with the warmth and the damp weather that we've had, and I know that's a constant saying of mine over the past few weeks, but well, months, but it is true. Oh, look. Oh, I can't remember what this is. It's a sort of allium. Just gorgeous. Look inside there. It's an allium that we were given a few years ago, and it's really doing well. I mean, gorgeous, gorgeous. Oh, look, and the blackberries, the cultivated thornless blackberry, they've started flowering too. That's great. Oh, frog. Plenty of frogs. Yeah, look. Wow, fab, 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 fab. Oh, and there's lots of gooseberries coming on this one as well. Oh, prickly. Yeah, but look at the weeds in there. Anyway, Paul, stop looking at things and just get on with that brassica bed. Not quite brassica free, because we do have some brassicas still growing in here from ones we put in the winter, but the bed has been de-brassica'd to a significant extent, and then perennial weeds in particular taken out. I've spotted this oak here and an oak here. Oh, I've left that weed in there. And I'm likely to pot those up, take them out of the bed and pot them up. This is actually going to be a bean bed, or both of these, if I go back a bit. It's going to be a bean bed this year. So we'll be sowing beans in here relatively soon, climbing beans mainly, but also some bush beans. Or dwarf beans, as we call them in the UK. Bush is now taking over. But yes, my dad always called them dwarf and climbing. So that's what's going to be going in these beds. And then we'll also be putting courgettes and cucumbers into the front half of this bed and tomatoes in the back half of this bed. And if we have further tomatoes, I think they're going to go into the area where we put some other brassicas a few months ago. The brassicas we planted through cardboard, which I've never actually been successful with doing, and have not been successful this time either. But hey ho, there we are. There we are. What I have noticed is our broad beans need a really good water. But I mean, you know, they are big. But look at the amount of beans coming. I mean, significant. But we're not having any rain, so I'm going to get my watering can and give these a real good water now, and that will be my last job for today. I've come to get the watering can here to fill it up to do the broad beans, and this Mizuna is really sort of wanting to come out now, or out of the poly anyway. So the flowers are being pollinated, and you can see here that seed pods are beginning to develop. So I'm just going to leave it be for the moment. When I go in, all I need to do is sort of move it to one side, which is fine. But yeah, that's one that I wanted to save seed from because it overwintered really well. So fingers crossed on that. Watering can, that's what I need. That's what I'm going to get on and fill. I'm going to call it a day down here. I had hoped to be down longer, well earlier, and therefore be able to be here longer, but it just didn't work out. There's something that I want to get done at my desk by end of play today, so I'm going to go home and do that. Otherwise it will just play on my mind for the next couple of days, because I'm at Vanessa tomorrow, so we'll have a look at some of the changes that are going on there. Yeah, so I had been hoping to get the courgette and the cucumbers in. That is not going to happen. That will happen on maybe Saturday, maybe Sunday, depending on how things go. And now I've said that, I need to remember to take our flasks home with me today, because we have a working party on Saturday for which we will need plenty of boiling water to make teas and coffees. So I will remember to do that as I leave. But yeah, I've been hoping to get that bed of cucumbers and courgettes sorted. It hasn't been. I'm quite interested to see how the ground has fared under the black tarp, you know, that sort of plastic ground cover. So it'll be interesting to see how that has done. I haven't peeked yet, but I almost peeked today. But you know what, I've got that brassica bed sorted. I haven't taken out the posts yet. I'm not going to. I'll take them out when I put the bean frames in. Vivi's got a video, I think, of bean frames, different types of bean frames coming out, either later today or at the weekend. So in this upload on YouTube, I'll point to it, because I'm sure that'll be interesting. I'm going for X Factor bean frames this year, so ones that do an X, you know, like that. So on this bit, the lower bit, they grow, and on this top bit the beans hang down, if you see what I mean, so they're easier to pick. So that's what I'm going to try. Whether it will work or not, I think it worked quite well last year or the year before when we did it on one of the beds. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. X Factor bean frames this year, hoping for excess harvests, of course. Mainly though of fresh bean pods, because I don't think we're going to be saving beans this growing year. We've got plenty in the fridge for growing on an additional year, next year, wherever we may be. But I don't think we'll be saving any bean seeds this coming year, either for eating over the winter or for seed sowing, because as I say, we've got plenty for seed sowing already. So yeah, and by the way, I think it was a fox in that bed because there was a wing of a pigeon there, and that's what foxes do, you know, they will hunt something and then they will go and bury various parts of it around the place. I haven't seen any other sort of upturned, oh, I haven't looked in the potato bed. I found a head in the potato bed last year. But that's what foxes do, you know, that's their nature. It's sort of like a dugout larder. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to go. There's another plane coming over. I will see you again very soon. Bye. Good day. So this is how the soil is underneath that black tarp, modern tarp rather than oil tarp, so it's sort of woven plastic. It did have cardboard underneath it as well, and as you can see, the only bit of cardboard remaining is here, and I clearly left a label here. But what's also here, oh sorry about that, is some of the rubber, some of the glue, look, that you find on some cardboard. So we're going to take that off because we don't want that on. Is this another bit here? No, yeah, it's another bit. Lots of ants' nests. Not going to worry about those. We're going to plant through those. Bit of cinquefoil there. But I think what I'm going to do, there's a few sort of bumps, so I might just rake this level just a little bit, not completely, because I'm not going to do too much to it. And this is where our courgettes and cucumbers are going to be going, and on that side that's where our tomatoes are going to be going. Yeah, but first of all I think I'm just going to rake, not much, just there's a hump here, so I want to clear that hump, and everything else, oh itchy nose, everything else I think is fine. Let's have a look at the courgettes and cucumbers. The smaller ones this side, 2 per pot, are our cucumbers. Courgettes, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over there. They're sort of larger, as you can see. And all of the courgettes are going to go in. I've just said to my neighbouring plot holder that if these do get eaten, I do have time to sow, but I might also pop to the garden centre and get some more, because we do love our courgettes. And of course our cucumbers. I've given our plot neighbour 2. I've given somebody else 2 as well, which are, those have now gone from here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 12. I think I'm going to put in, I think I'll put in 6, and then the other 6 I'll pot up individually, and then they can go to other people here, or they can be used in case we have any casualties with slugs and snails, or we can sell them at our gate sale, which is coming up in about 5 weeks time. So yeah, let me get some of these over to where we're going to put them in. Obviously these, there is a bit of root there, you can just see. These are going to be split. I won't be planting these pots like this, so I'll be splitting these in 2 and planting those out. The courgettes are all in individual pots anyway. Yeah, a few roots there. How are the roots on here? Oh yeah, look at that, yeah. Right, let's get these over and space them out. I'm actually putting 7 of the cucumber in, and the 5 courgettes you can see still in pots over there. The 7 courgettes have been split, and the 8th courgette has been potted up singly. So now I'm just going to dig a hole and put these in. Yeah, feels quite bizarre actually for some reason. I'm not quite sure why that I'm doing this. I don't know quite why. I don't know, it feels like so long since I've put a seedling from a pot into the ground. Isn't that odd? Of course, I've done it with bean seedlings and with courgettes and cucumbers previously, but this is the first time this year. It just feels late and a bit odd, but it's all good. That's these 7 cucumbers and 5 courgettes now in. And of course, what am I going to do? Give them a good water. That's them given a good water, and I'll be giving them another water in about 30 minutes, and then fingers crossed that the slugs and snails don't find them to munch on. Fingers crossed. That's it for me down here today. I'm just pleased to have got the courgettes and the cucumbers in. The cucumbers, yeah, they're fine. They could be a little bit larger, but they're absolutely fine to go out. They've obviously, like the courgettes, been hardened off over the last, I think at least 10 days now, maybe 12 days maybe. So they're fine to go in the ground. We're still getting a few chilly nights, and there's a few forecasts coming up, but I think they'll be fine. I'm not worried about the temperatures. I'm more worried about slugs and snails. But, we will see. I now know we definitely have 2 snuzzling hedgehogs going around the plot on a regular basis, and around a number of plots on a regular basis. So that's really, really great. And of course, they will keep down the slugs and snails. Plus, we've got the frogs. So, yeah. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. I will be down here tomorrow, I think. We're going to be doing a live Sunday chat in the morning, but I'll be down in the afternoon to do a bit of tidying up. Just maybe a couple of hours to get ahead of myself. So I will see you then. Bye. Good day. As I said yesterday, we've got 3 oaks growing. You can see the acorn here, and roots coming off, and obviously the growth. So I'm going to pot the 3 of them up into pots, obviously, and the soil that I'm going to use is a mix of really good but not nutritious compost and ground from where I've just dug this out. I'm not going to take this back any further to bear root though. I'm leaving it exactly like that, and I'm going to pot them up into this size pot so you can see it's not hugely bigger than what is already here. In having a good look around the beds, I found an additional one. So there were actually 3 oaks in the brassica bed, and there was one in the turnips bed on this side of the plot. So I've potted them all up into these pots, and the level, I've left them on the level that they were in the ground, so I haven't planted them any deeper or shallower than they were before. I'm going to give them a water, and once I do, and once they're dried out, in at least 2 of these, one would be able to see the acorn from which these have grown, simply because in the 2 that you would be able to see this, they were at that level when I took them out. So yeah, I felt it was important not to plant them any deeper or any shallower than they were already. So yeah, I knew there were 3 yesterday and I was going to pot them up, and I found that 4th on a hunt around today. I did think I'd seen a 4th, but I couldn't quite visualize where I had seen it. But as soon as I saw it between 2 blocks of wood on the brassica bed, I thought, yeah, that's exactly where I'd seen it. And it is fascinating that we've got oaks here, because as I was saying to our plot neighbour here who with the chickens, you know, we noticed one growing on their plot yesterday, and we were chatting about this, and unlike sycamores where the seeds blow in the wind and can travel absolutely miles, oaks, you know, grow from acorns, and those acorns don't blow in the wind. You know, they fall to the ground, and they might be buffeted along with the wind on the ground, but not, you know, 400 meters, and certainly not over a canal, up a hill and into an allotment site. And we can't think of any birds that would have done that. Maybe a magpie would have done, I don't know, maybe a magpie or a jay, I'm not sure. And then we thought about squirrels, you know, because squirrels obviously love acorns and take them and they bury them. But even though it doesn't seem that far a distance for squirrels to travel, it seems quite a distance for squirrels to travel with acorns. And when I was leaving the site yesterday, I spoke to another plot neighbour who's just in front of our other neighbours, and she also has an acorn growing on her plot. So it's fascinating that, having had or not seen any acorns growing and any oaks therefore growing on our site for ever since I've been here, which is, you know, 5-6 years now, suddenly we see 6, 4 of which are now potted up. So yeah, you know, love that. What we'll do with those ones that have been potted up, I'm not sure, but they couldn't stay in the ground anyway. If we have a sizable enough garden when we move, maybe 1 or 2 of them could go in, or maybe we could do some guerrilla gardening at some point and get them in. Certainly, I'm sure they're local. They won't have been brought in from, you know, anywhere too far afield. So even if we did sort of do some guerrilla gardening and put them on common land so that they didn't interfere with the growth of anything else, they're going to be re-guerrillaed, if you like, within the local environment. But yeah, you know, if we've got some space in our new home, wherever that may be, to plant 1 or 2, it would be great to take 2 with us. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for this week's A Week at the Plot. If you've got any comments or questions, please do leave them down below. Any hints or tips, the same. And I will see you on Planet Vegetaria through next week with further uploads of A Week at the Plot, which all get wrapped up into the upload that goes onto YouTube at 8:15 each Monday morning. So wherever I see you, I hope to see you again. And whatever you're growing, I hope it is doing well. See you very soon, and happy growing. Bye.